Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be providing an update on the longer term bullish case for Solana. Back a few months ago, I did a video comparing the Ethereum market cycle to Solana's current market cycle, mainly because there were a lot of parallels between the two charts. They had a very similar run up into that all-time high and that peak, and they had very similar bear markets. And in general, fractals do a great job at visualizing what's been seen before in this crypto market and what is theoretically on the table for the next market cycle. So a lot of time has unfolded since that last video, and I did want to provide a general update on where I stand with this chart and my expectations for Solana into the next cycle. So if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, by the way, I will leave a link to my Twitter page in the description below. Feel free to go ahead and check that out as well. I am fairly active over there with crypto content. So if you haven't seen that last video and you have no idea what this chart represents, basically what I've done is I've taken the Ethereum market cycle peak from back here in January of 2018 at $1,420, and I've aligned it to the same date and to the same price of the Solana peak from right here in November of 2021, right around $267, just so that we can get a good comparison of how these moves have compared over the market cycle in that bull run and then again into the bear market. And of course, this white line represents Ethereum's market cycle, and then the purple line represents Solana's market cycle. And the most interesting aspect of this chart is how similar these moves have been for Solana and Ethereum over the market cycles. They both had a very similar first leg up where they almost went in this vertical-like rally right up into this zone of accumulation and consolidation before that next final leg up for that parabolic peak at the all-time high. And then they also had a very similar move back down. They had the first correction followed by a dead cat bounce that was taking up about 50 to 100% for both these assets, right up into this longer term lower high, and then just a continuation. And we've seen that play out very similarly over the last several months. And the only difference here so far is that Solana has made a deeper pullback, and so far this bear market has been longer than the previous one for Ethereum. And that is to the tune of about 84 days over about 37% lower, which obviously is on the candle closing basis. If you were to take it from the wicks, it would be a little bit more in terms of percentage. But Solana has come back up and it's rallying right back up to a similar level that we saw with Ethereum in the last market cycle. So we're just seeing a little bit more volatility both to the upside and to the downside at this end state of the bear market. And you could make the argument that a lot of this volatility is mainly fueled by that FTX saga and Sam Bankman-Fried's position in Solana. But ultimately, in the end, I don't think it'll matter. And I don't think that 2 years out for Solana, this is going to be a huge impact and a huge difference in that longer term vision. And I also do want to talk about the fact that these fractals are in no way a predictor of price. They're really just about showing us what we've seen with Ethereum in the last market cycle, how it performed, and what is theoretically on the table. What is in the cards for altcoins into the next market cycle? What is possible? So in the sense that Ethereum had this incredible recovery from that $80 low back up to the all-time highs at $1,400, we could see that happen with Solana. It's no guarantees, of course, but that is something that we could expect in another bull run and a future bull run where, say, Bitcoin and Ethereum both make it back up to all-time highs and spark a lot of that retail interest back further out that risk curve into the altcoin market. So while that is certainly on the cards and that is certainly a possibility, I do want us to remain grounded here, because when we're talking about Solana at these levels, we have just seen a very sharp rally. And if I take a measure move on the Solana weekly chart, we've rallied about 210% in just the last 2 weeks. So to say it's overextended in the short term, in my opinion, would be an understatement. And we've also seen this come up right into this longer term zone of resistance. We've got these weekly moving averages, the 20 simple moving average and the 21 weekly exponential moving average. That is this band. That has been our resistance. We saw rejections in April, and then again right here in October. And again, we're coming up to that level as of right now on this weekly candle. And we've also got the horizontal level of resistance from back in the summer of 2021 lows, basically this triple bottom off the support at around $27, $26. It was also support here in June of 2022, as well as October. So we've got confluence. We've got a lot of resistance up here off this very sharp rally, this very vertical-like move, 200% higher in just 2 weeks. So I do think the signs point to the fact that we could see some sort of correction pullback back down to retest maybe the breakout point right here at $14 or some sort of longer term higher low. But in the short term, I do think we are fairly overextended. So while in the long term, I do see this vision of potentially coming up into this accumulation phase to really kick off a new bull run into all-time highs, say a few years out, in the short term, I do have to respect we're at resistance, we're overextended, and we could see that pullback. So just as an illustration of potentially what we could expect in say a future bull run, similar to looking at the Ethereum chart, is maybe we could have that pullback again, bringing us back down for a retest, hopefully printing some sort of higher low. And then if we can have some sort of accumulation phase, ultimately giving us some time to build a base, give some accumulation to those longer term investors and those longer term hands, then maybe we could see a breakout later on in the year. And at that point, we could start to look further out into that risk curve and see that expansion phase of the bull run. And I do have this drawn just as a guide, as an illustration of what we could expect. Again, this is not a prediction by any means. It is just me looking at the Ethereum chart from the previous market cycle and saying, hey, well, this is what we saw. We saw the accumulation and then eventually that breakout, bringing us back up to all-time highs. And one of the things that we can actually do here is we can take a bar pattern and just compare how that would look. Again, taking this move from Ethereum in the last market cycle and just overlaying it here, zooming out all of the way, you can see we could still fairly have a long ways to go of accumulation before eventually getting a breakout. And this is just one way of looking at it, and a fairly limited way of looking at it, because fractals really don't take into account the environment, the conditions, the fundamentals of the tokens, and in general, a lot of other factors that could influence the price. So certainly not a prediction, just my visualization of what could happen, what does the bullish scenario look like, and potentially where we might start to say, hey, well, we're actually going to see that run up to all-time highs. And for me, that would really come off the back of breaking above this $26, $27 zone, flipping that into support, and having more accumulation over a longer duration. So we have a lot of those patient hands slowly accumulating, giving us a base that we can look to for a new market cycle, very similar to how we saw that for Ethereum back here in 2018, 2019, and 2020. So I hope you guys enjoy the content and the analysis. By the way, make sure to check out my Twitter page. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. As always, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.